Nintendo, encoding. Let's get into it.
Alright, so for this series I'm going to go over some of the coding that you can do to code programs for homebrewed Nintendo consoles, and we're going to start off with the 3DS. Now you're going to need a couple things. One thing you'll need for all of it is DevKitPro, and this allows you to develop programs and such for all different types of consoles and stuff using Homebrew. So now if we want to download it, we can go to the page right here, the wiki page. This has got some great information on it. So you can go to GitHub, you can download it. Now I've already got it installed, and it comes with a lot of different things. First of all, it comes with a lot of examples, some example code and stuff for all the different types of consoles you want to code for. And it also comes with this software here. Now this is very important. This gives us the environment that allows us to compile and write the code, and it can build it to the console that we need. Now the other way is you're going to want a way to test it. Now you could put this on your 3DS. I've done that before, but I'm just going to use Citra for ease of use. That makes it a lot easier to test. And as you can see, here's an example of what it's going to look like. Now the language you're going to use is the fantastic and glorious programming language of C. Now if you want to learn how to code itself, this tutorial will be using C and C++. Now the best book you could probably get for the language, there's a lot of tutorials online, but I'd also recommend the C programming language. And then to go on to C++, you have the C++ programming language. So I've got the code pulled up here for the Hello World program. There's a couple, I'm using Visual Studio for this, but you can use whatever text editor you want. You can use Notepad++, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter. There's a few things you'll want though, is, Citra. I have this open. I also have the directory with the code in it. I have the directory with the code in it, ready to go. And then finally, I have this software pulled up that allows me to compile and make the code. So I'm going to go through it a bit here. Let me zoom in here. So first, we have our include files. We have the standard stdio.h, this header file, allows us to print all that stuff. But we also have this 3ds.h file. Now this file comes with DevKitPro when you install it. And the project itself, this can be found in the examples, has the makefile. This will automatically link it to it. So all you have to do is include it in the code itself. Now the next thing we're going to do is we have the main function. This is where all programs start. It's in the C language. This function here, this initializes the program in the console, and this line initializes the screens. So here I pass in the top screen as a parameter, and here a null. Now normally, if you want to initialize the bottom screen, you would put gfx_bottom, but we're not going to worry about that, so we're just going to put null there for now. The next thing we're doing is we're going to define a main loop for a program to run it, so it'll stay printing the whatever we want on the screen, which is this while loop. Here we have printf, standard printf, but we have an escape key here. Now the way the 3DS works and the way it prints to the screen is it has rows and columns. This says the 16th row, the 20th column of the screen, print hello world. The next thing we do is we're defining a variable. It's and we're going to call it key down, and it's a function that returns true when a key is down. So this next if statement, we're saying, okay, if the key is down and this variable here is automatically in the program. This comes with 3ds.h. Now each of the keys on the 3DS has a different binary value when it's down, and I'm pretty sure key start returns 1 if it's down. So we can say if a key is down and the key start is returning 1. Now the reason we want to do that is say if we want to say if multiple keys are down, because what happens is if we have key start, for instance, down, which equals 1, and then key, we'll say A, I'm not entirely sure what key A equals. I think it's 1, 0. But what we would have to do to say if these are both down is that these values add together to equal 11. So 11 would equal key A and key start being down. So here we just say if a key is down and key start, instead of just saying if key start. so that we can add more stuff later on to make sure that they are down and that we can have multiple keys at once. And this just breaks out of the loop. Now, the way it also works is we have this. So on the 3DS, there's 2 screen buffers, so there's no flickering on the screen. And this just refreshes the buffers every time this loop runs through. It'll flush them, swap them, and then wait. And then when we break the program here, it exits out, and this just shuts down the program. That's what this GFX in the default is. And then return 0 just exits the program. Now, to compile this and get this ready, you're going to want to open up this. This just opens up a shell in the environment that we need. So here, if I can zoom in, yeah, we have a couple files here. These won't be here. Actually, I'll just delete those right now. This is what your directory is going to look like. It's just with these files. And this is just a Visual Studio file thing. Don't worry about that. There's the build folder with a lot of the build stuff. We don't worry about that. And then the source. This is where the code file goes. And then there's the make file. Now the make file essentially tells the program when it builds, where all of the files and libraries are, that stuff like that we defined up here, and all of its parameters. Now this Hello World program comes with a make file, so you don't have to worry about that. And then to compile it, we just type make. So it'll create these files. Now, in your folder, they'll look like this. Now you can take this file, like this 3dsx file, and just put it right on your DS, and it'll automatically work if you launch it through Homebrew. But I'll just show it with the Citra emulator, and as you can see, it loads up Hello World. So later on, we'll go over some of the other interactivity you can create, and maybe a couple of games. But that's basically the beginning. You've made a Hello World program, and you can put this on your DS and run it through the Homebrew launcher. It'll pop up just like any other Homebrew application that you put on there. If you want to see more of these videos and keep the series going, make sure to subscribe, and I'll probably go over some of the other consoles like the Wii. But yeah, I think next time we'll get into some interactivity using the bottom screen and get something going.